Hey, what's up guys? It's Daniel here, and today I'm gonna do another video of my dad's collection of vinyl. I mean, I got my own, but I ain't got many to consider my own collection that I bought myself, but technically these albums are my collection, so they still count as mine, but they're still my dad's in a lot of ways. So the first album I want to show. Oh yeah, before I do so, I just want to mention if you're wondering why probably wondering why the quality looks a lot better, looks even more brighter, is because I'm using a new webcam I bought just a few days ago on Friday at Staples, and it's a Logitech brand, so they usually have some good stuff, and so this camera's really, really, really good in my opinion. So, and plus I don't have to worry about using my battery powered lantern just to do so, to light up the footage, and that can be annoying because it's like you feel cheap. You feel like your videos are not good quality enough, and I'm looking for nothing more than just to give you something to watch. But the point is, it's like I want to be able to reach out to a lot of people and want to give them the best quality I can give in my videos. I mean, they're not perfect, but I want to be able to have people to enjoy something and be able to relate. So by doing this, I was able to pay for 20 something dollars, like about 27 in taxes, with those tax as a tax, I believe. And that's how much the cam cost. So I thought to myself, this is worth it. This is definitely worth the money. I mean, for what I had in my pocket that day, that I put on the side for like the rest of the week. So I figured this is a perfect opportunity to use a good web camera than the one that comes with the computer that's built in, because the quality on this laptop's camera that it comes with already, that's already built in, it sucks. I think the quality is too dark, and it's just, no matter how many times you try to enhance it to make it better, it still looks terrible. And I didn't want to use the camera because it just didn't look too well, to be honest, and I wanted to try to give you guys the best I can give in quality over in the video, like to be able to give you something worth seeing, and I don't want to give you bad quality because then that will turn people off. So anyway, the first album I want to show is Bad Company, and that is the album of, I can't see it because all the letters are worn off, so you gotta remember this is a very old album, so some of the words I can't be able to see on here. Like, I would say the name of the album, but like I said, you can't even see it. Like, I can even show you, and I'm not making this up. It's years of worn, aging, and all that. So it's hard to really say what the name of this album is. But Bad Company, you will know from their self-titled song, Bad Company. And for a lot of younger fans of current rock music that are just starting to get into and heard Five Finger Death Punch, you would know the song Bad Company from them. But they're good. They're okay. Like, I'm not a fan of their music personally, because I'm just not into the samey sounding, bro rock type of stuff. But I don't actually hate them, to be honest. But I wouldn't say I love them either. They're just okay. But their cover of Bad Company was pretty good, and I remember overhearing it one day when I think I was in the bathroom, doing what you do in the bathroom, doing your business, because my brother listens to them and he loves them, so hey, that's cool. But I just ain't the biggest fan, but I can understand why he likes them because it's what he's into, and this is no criticism at all. I mean, I did like their cover of Bad Company though. It's not bad. It's pretty heavy to some degree, but not like death metal heavy or whatever. It's just radio friendly hard rock, but and some people would say it's the kind of music only broiest of bros would listen to, while wearing a wife beater while drinking a Monster Energy drink, riding ATVs type of music. At least that's how I look at it. But I shouldn't judge somebody for liking that band because, well, like I said, they're not bad. Though I feel like they could do more with their music than just do the same exact thing every album because that gets boring, personally. But till I can make a full analysis and review on on Five Fingers music, I would have to listen to some of their albums first. Thankfully, I got Spotify, I can stream it. So maybe someday down the line I can talk about that. But Bad Company, yeah, they're a really good band. And I remember listening just recently. I put on the song, their self-titled song, because me and my dad were working together on my room to try to get this shit, excuse my language, to get this stuff taken care of, like get this room a little bit more neater because it was looking pretty bad due to personal reasons of my mentality of not feeling right. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I have issues. But I don't think we should talk about that right now because it's too personal. Maybe someday I can make that as a subject to really try to help people understand what a person goes through in life. But right now, that's just not appropriate to talk about, and I would like to talk about someday if people care. But I really don't care either because if you watch the video, then you watch it. But otherwise, I really don't care. Unless if you really care enough to watch these videos and enjoy these sort of things. But anyway, I'm going off topic. But yeah, that was Bad Company, and that is a good. I haven't heard it yet, that one, but I did like what I heard from them. Next is Black Sabbath's Never Say Die, an album that Ozzy himself does not like, personally, because he feels it wasn't his best music. From what I heard, it's a good, decent, solid rock album, from what I remember hearing. But people, and I know there's people out there who probably do like this just as much as their other stuff, or maybe they might like it for its own reasons that separate from what they're used to making. But Ozzy, you might not like it, but I appreciate it because I think it sounds awesome. So keep it going, Mr. Ozman. You always make things so much better when it comes to when it comes to heavy metal. The next is this one's a little worn because the record just slipped out, the vinyl slipped out. Is Bob Marley and the Wailers' Rasta Man Vibration. Now, I don't think we can get into a full detail of Bob Marley because I think we know just enough from what he's known for his music. And even if you're not the biggest fan of that genre of music of reggae, but you can learn to appreciate him. Not because younger people will associate him for being the guy that smoked a lot of pot. Yeah, that's what people would only associate with him with. But his music actually meant something. It had a message. And you may argue that he might not be too kind of white people. I don't know how true that is, but I don't think that's true really. Because I remember I used to hang with someone. They said they felt he was a bit prejudiced towards white people because he was Rasta, Farian, and usually they get a rep for being racist, prejudiced toward white people. I don't know how true that is. I don't want to stir the pot with something I don't know nothing about because that doesn't look too good on my part or anyone else's part personally. But I will tell you that Bob Marley is an icon for a reason. He started pretty much that genre of music that we know is reggae. I mean, it existed before that, but it just wasn't really the way as we know reggae. Like, it just shows that he left a big impact on music and his beliefs. I mean, this guy nearly died from being shot to death because of reasons. This guy almost died from being shot, and he lived and still kept on making music that was a protest towards a lot of things in that country. And if only if people who talk about Bob Marley and say they like him, if you really care enough about his message, you would listen to him. Or are you just somebody who just sits there and likes Bob Marley because he smokes the wacky tobacco? Now, I, for one, ain't gonna deny that I do it myself. I, too, like to have some myself, you know. I'm not gonna deny it. There's no reason to be scared to admit that. It's not like I'm shooting up heroin or that other crap. But that doesn't mean I do it because of him. I do it because for personal reasons, anxiety. Because I like the way I feel. It's just a good feeling, and sometimes it feels good to have that around. But the point is, it's not about me. It's about this guy. Like, he made a lot of... His music was like a protest within itself. There was just so much to say in his music, and there was a lot of messages, a lot of things that made him who he is today, not because of what people might see him as. Heck, he became more synonymous with marijuana when they sell rolling paper or cigarette paper named after him. Shows you they really thought so much of him. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, but I feel if people really listen to his music and give it a shot, instead of just being that guy who smoked weed, like with the younger generation, I think they would appreciate him as an artist and what he had to say in his music. Otherwise, just saying you're a fan of him because of that just seems pointless and doesn't make you really a fan, just makes you someone who admires him for smoking pot. But but Bob Marley definitely something to listen to. Now this next one is our early Pink Floyd album called A Nice Pair. I'm not 100% sure which version this is. This could be the US press because this is as well. My dad bought this somewhere. And I've, I don't know much about the story of how he got this one, but I don't know which version this is. So if anyone could tell me by looking at these images, they know this is I don't know, but this is probably just an American release. So I heard it's different from like foreign releases. I don't know. I'm a little rusty on the subject, but I know this one. There's different pressings that are more different, slightly different in their material. But I haven't heard this one completely all the way through years ago because I remember hearing half of it and just thinking it's a difference between what we know Pink Floyd for, like Another Brick in the Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, you know, all of that. That's what people associate when they think of Pink Floyd. But for those who really know about Pink Floyd, who really, especially if you're someone who was alive, who was my age at the time or younger when they were a big deal, would know that before that they had Syd Barrett, the original vocalist, but the reason for him exiting the group was because of personal issues, mostly his mentality. He was in a bad mental state, and he wasn't exactly in the best mental health either at this point. He became a shell of who he was because of abuse of acid, or, you know, all that drugs can destroy you, and it messed up his mentality badly, which I think is a shame because the guy was dare I say, a visionary in his own art, and no one should ever take that away from Syd Barrett because he was Pink Floyd. He was the original, the OG, as they would say. And with this album, I can imagine some of the creative work and everything, so much they put into their psychedelic sound, you know, from that period. I mean, would Pink Floyd still be as good with him, even if he didn't leave the group? Who knows? Who knows what could have been if he didn't have that a mental breakdown and all that. Things could have been different, but I'm still glad we still got David Gilmour and Roger Waters pretty much taking the front seat. And Roger Waters was already established, and he wasn't already a singer of the group. He was there from the beginning. But David Gilmour, I feel, was just as good in his own right, because after getting rid of Sid, they were able to have David to sing the material, and the material that came with David Gilmour, that is a classic. Those are great albums because it showed you even without Sid, they still were able to go on. And now they're probably one of the most memorable classic bands of their time. And there's always going to be someone that will talk about Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. But you can't always count out the lesser mentioned albums that no one ever talks about because it's not as popular as those albums as like Animal Sound, Pet Sound, not Pet Sound, that's Beatles, I'm sorry, Animal Sound. I forgot the name of it, so like you had they really were ahead of the game in their time, so that's why I really enjoy their music. Well, seeing this is probably a shorter video, which I'm glad because I don't want to carry on too long. Now the last one here is Black Oak, Arkansas, 10-year overnight success. I really don't know anything about their music personally. Like I said, these were my dad's records, so one of these days I will check it out. So I can't really make a full form of an opinion to be able to tell if I really like this or not. But then again, my dad was alive for some of the best music when it came to rock. Either I could like it or I can be like, meh, who knows? And I could go on and drag on the idea of what I could say about this, but I don't really know much about this group, or really know anything really. But I'm glad that I have it because it gives me a chance to check out some of these albums that I'm lucky to have because who knows what I could be missing. Well, the thing is with music is that when art is created, it's created for a reason. So when you see how today's music is, you think to yourself, what the hell happened for the mainstream audiences? But that's the thing, that's mainstream. Now think about some of the musicians who really worked their butts off for so long to try to get somewhere to share their work and their art. It can be frustrating because people rather hear the more manufactured stuff that it's thrown down our throats daily and yearly as the years go on, and we're never really. And those who don't really look deeper into finding more music outside the mainstream think that there's no good music. That's not true. Just gotta look in the right places. So, if you feel that there's not enough good music today, I say just look deeper into your category of what you want to listen to because you might be missing out something good. And for me, when it comes to modern music, like I was listening to some of Sia last night, like even her stuff before she went complete mainstream pop, like those were really good periods of Sia. It's a far cry from what she started making in more modern later year, most current times. But that doesn't mean I hate Sia. I actually still like her because I think she has a wonderful voice and she can be creative. This, even if they might be some questionable song choices, probably that people might question. But if you want the best to Sia, I say go for her earlier work. Before Chandelier and all that. Because if you haven't heard anything before, further into her discography, you're missing out. because she really is something. She is talented. And this was before she decided to hide her face from the public. But what's the point of doing that when there's images online and everywhere you can look that has her in the image, shows her face, so you're not really hiding anything that we already don't know. Well, before I ramble on any further, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.